So the video that we watched today was talking about insulin resistance, and I think that the speaker kind of opened an eye to the people who were watching and who have tuned in on YouTube because he was talking about a personal situation that he's been, and I think that a lot of people have probably been in this situation or kind of made this assumption about obese people and how like it's their fault and how like if they tried harder, like if they worked out and ate better, that they would lose all this weight when in reality it could be something that they can't necessarily help due to another cause. So 1 in 3 Americans are insulin resistant, and the CDC reports that it's about 80 million people. And then there's 93.3 million that are obese currently, and then the obesity rate is 32.2% for men and 35.5% of women, and that just keeps increasing. And then there's also 90% of people with type 2 diabetes are also obese. So that link is also kind of a big one that a lot of people should probably take into account. And I know when we learn about it in class, they always talk about type 2 and diabetes, or like type 2 diabetes with the link of obesity, and how like you can kind of tell the difference because usually people with type 2 are a little bit bigger than some with type 1. So I really liked in the video that he talked about how people think that obesity is what's causing insulin resistance when there could actually be another cause, and that is more of just like a symptom from it. And so finding the real cause could really help just kind of get rid of that stigma that obesity is the cause of everything, and that actually there's another problem that needs to be addressed that could help these people with obesity. So I think that some of the sources for the glucose is a lot of Americans like to eat fast food because, like I said, it's fast. People usually are always kind of in a rush and doing things like they need to get done now, and sometimes they don't necessarily have time to cook, and so it's also a little bit cheaper to kind of eat that unhealthy food. So I know, like, as a college kid who's like on the run all the time, like it's so much easier for me to stop by McDonald's and get a $1 McChicken versus going home and making all this food. So a lot of refined grains and starches are kind of sources of that glucose, which is literally like everywhere you turn. There's carbs and glucose and starches pretty much everywhere. So it's a little bit hard to kind of avoid those. Like I tried doing the keto diet, and you don't realize how much carbs there are on things until you try that. But so I think that ways that they could kind of help with this epidemic is finding the underlying cause of what's actually causing these people to be obese, and not like telling them that they need to be working out and things like that, but finding what's actually causing their obesity and teaching people ways to cope with that, and also how they can cut out kind of the glucose and whatnot. But I really liked in his video how he talked about you're getting different types of doctors from everywhere of talking about like, well, we think this is what's causing it, and well, we think this is what's causing it. And so it's kind of great like to see that they're all working together and using their own ideas to come up with like a complex kind of figuring out what's going on for these people.